I don't host brunch to impress people. I host brunch so that everyone, including me, can exhale. Plus, this is my way of showing the people that I love the most or the closest people to me that they matter. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I plan and host my brunches from start to finish. When I moved to the UK, I previously had my business in Nigeria, a food business that was doing very good. However, when I moved with my husband to the UK, there was really nothing much happening for me, and I had that continuous zeal as I had carried previously to do something beautiful, to do something new, to show my friends how much I care and what I would like to continue to do as I've come into this new country. And that birthed my brunch club. Second reason why I started in the first place was I was working a nice job. However, I don't have freedom of creative license. So I can't just decide to cook whatever I wanted. And I didn't have control over the menu. And I really wanted to do something to challenge myself. So really, hosting for me was not performance. It was birthed first off to challenge myself to do something in line of what I already did in the past, but up the beat or raise the bar basically. And I've always wanted to do brunch or host brunch in such a way that people typically host dinner parties, which is like different courses and really creative spins on how the food is made, how it's presented, and the craft behind it. I wanted it to be beyond the typical cliche brunches that we will always have and what everyone expects all the time. And so first off, because I was hosting this in my house, I needed it to be easy. I needed it to be fluid. I didn't want to be performing. At first, I wanted my guests to have a swell experience, but as I continued to host, I really also wanted to enjoy myself and make this easy for me. So first off, because I'm hosting in my home, I don't just want to bring random people that I don't know. I don't want to bring people that don't have anything in common or that can't have simple conversations around the table, because clearly if I'm bringing out 4 courses, for example, there will be pauses in between the courses, and I don't want the air to be awkward when people start waiting for the next course. I want people who like each other, or even if they don't know each other, have common grounds of conversation of what they can say to each other. And that was really what it was for me. And so first off, I needed to have my guests. My home dining is 6, so I decided I'll start with 6. Now that sounds like a very little number to do all that effort for, but it was so important for me to be able to see my space look beautiful and not crammed, because I don't really like that vibe where there's like loads of people in one party in a tiny cramped space and everyone is standing around and not clear about what to do or how this is happening. It's just really not, it overstimulates me, so that's enough for me. So 6 it was for me. I planned that as I grew, definitely I will add on to the numbers, and then I could use my garden, and it just helped me to plan around the seasons. So I know that in the summer, there's so much more going on. People are more willing to go out, and I can do something in my garden. In my garden, I have more space, so I can sit up to 24 people if I do an Italian style dining. What that means is if I combine tables in a nice long setting, then I can sit 12 on each side without the space looking cramped. So you can see that even though I'm going outside, I still don't want my garden to be full or swarmed with humans. I want it to feel nice and fluid. I want it to feel like everyone can see each other. Everyone knows who's at the party with them, and everyone has a hello, hi moment. And it just makes the whole thing beautiful, memorable, and people want to come back. Now, the planning layers. The first thing I do to make this easy for me is theme. The reason why I choose the theme is not mainly because of props or florals, even though that also plays a very crucial role, but the main reason why the theme is so important is because it just guides you through the entire process, from knowing what kind of meals you could serve, what kind of people would like to come to eat that kind of food, how much effort is going to take for you to make the ambience or the feel of the room match what you're trying to portray. So for instance, if you're trying to portray a spring vibe or a picnic vibe, you need some florals that are very little, not huge, big, over the top florals, definitely, because spring comes first of all with cherry blossoms. It's just mostly tiny flowers. So you just want to play around with, tiny little florals that is scattered around in a very light, airy feel. So that's spring vibe basically. And so that guides you. Then if you have a nice budget, you can decide to have a floral project. You can decide to do a floral bar. You can decide to push your menu in a way that it radiates that vibe. So what I'm saying this is that theming is so important because it's your proper guide. So in one of my brunches, I wanted it to have that botanical feel plus dark moody Asian vibe. So what that did for me was that I already knew the vibe I was going for. I knew the colors of dishes I needed. I knew the kind of table I needed. I knew that I needed the table to be low to the ground because I mean typically most of the typical Japanese cultural dining style have low tables where they sit on the ground or sit on something that's really close to the ground because it relaxes them into the meal, and their dining style is shared, so the food is on the middle of the table and the food goes round and is shared amidst everyone. That theme for me gave me all that I needed in terms of I knew what food I was serving clearly. I'm going to talk about it much later on my page, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed and click the like button if you're liking this video so far. So I'm going to walk you through step by step on how I did that brunch and what my thought pattern was and everything so that you can understand. As I was saying, for that brunch, I already knew that I needed the theme to be very green. And personally, I like my food and something that's alive to be my prop. I'm not very keen on plastic props or things that look very abstract and far from life. So I will use fresh flowers for most of my tablescape. I will use fruits, food, plants, things that are alive. So that's just really my vibe. And so the only thing on that table that wasn't alive was the moss, and that was mainly because moss has sand at the bottom, and I don't want anyone to get sand in their food because my tablescape has sand on it, and it was just a very small table for 6, and so I used a very, very close, realistic looking moss. So I believe you can get what I'm trying to say. Now what that has done for me is that the theme of the event has helped me to know the food to serve, how the table should feel, the height of the table, and every other thing just, follows through, and it has that nice fluid symmetry. One hosting truth: if you plan for presence, everything else falls into place. What that means is if you plan to make people feel welcome, you plan to be there to make them enjoy the experience, every other thing will become so much easier, and the experience will be absolutely worth the while for you and for the people. And always remember to find a way to document what you're doing. That means find a way to leave a camera somewhere if you're not keen on taking a lot of photos. Encourage people to take photos of things that they love. And trust me, when something looks really beautiful, we're in a generation of people who would definitely bring out their cameras. So yeah, it's so important to document it so that you can look back and be able to see how you're progressing, how much better this is becoming, or how much better you're becoming at this. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure to like this video if you liked everything you heard so far, and make sure to subscribe and follow the series because I'm going to be showing you how I hosted all my brunches last year from planning to tablescaping, menu planning, to guest count, and everything that you need so you can do yours also. Thank you so much if you watch all the way to the end. See you next time.